Welcome back. The quiet hum of everyday transactions. A simple coin often passes unnoticed, until one emerges from the shadows of circulation with a story worth millions. The 2005 1-cent coin, seemingly modest in appearance and value, holds secrets and intrigue that elevate it to a realm of legend among collectors. Its journey from a humble minting facility to the vaults of high-stakes coin auctions is one steeped in history, mystery, and the relentless pursuit of numismatic passion. Minted in 2005, this penny was part of the long-standing Lincoln Cent series, a series that began in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features the ever-familiar bust of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained a pillar of American coinage for over a century. The reverse, at the time, still carried the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, making this particular year one of transition and continuity before the redesigns that would follow in later years. But among the millions minted that year, a handful stand apart, not due to errors or flaws, but because of what they symbolize and how they've traveled through time. In numismatics, rarity and demand fuel value, and the story behind a coin often determines its fate. For the 2005 1-cent coin, this story begins with an anomaly found in a collector's pocket change, an unusual luster, a striking sharpness in the detail, and a faint misalignment that drew the attention of experts. Further investigation revealed it was struck on a foreign planchet, giving birth to the mythos of the 2005 off-metal strike Lincoln penny. These rare specimens, numbering perhaps less than a few dozen, were thought to have been mistakenly struck on 90% silver blanks meant for foreign currency, a mix-up of incredible consequence. How these blanks found their way into the U.S. Mint's high-security operations remains a topic of heated speculation. Some believe they were leftover planchets from experimental minting tests. Others suggest an internal oversight involving the coining of foreign currency, a practice once common at U.S. Mint facilities. Regardless of the origin, the error resulted in a visually distinct coin, lighter in color, slightly off in weight, and shimmering with a silvery brilliance not found in standard copper-plated zinc cents. As news of the discovery broke in collector forums and auction circles, the market responded with a fury. The first confirmed 2005 off-metal cent was sold privately for a staggering six-figure sum. This sale ignited a wildfire of interest in 2005 pennies, with collectors combing through jars and rolls in hopes of finding another. Coin shows saw a surge in attendees carrying their own 2005 specimens, seeking authentication. Dealers began offering premiums for rolls of unsearched 2005 cents. The quiet little coin had become a star, but the story didn't stop there. In 2011, another variant emerged, a 2005 cent with extreme die polishing marks and doubling on the reverse, leading to speculation that the mint had attempted to cover up a major die crack or similar issue. These examples, though far more common than the silver-struck error, added another layer to the lore. They were nicknamed ghost cents for their faint, almost spectral detailing, and became popular among those who couldn't afford the rarer strike but still wanted a piece of the story. More mysteries began to unfold. A researcher delving into mint records discovered discrepancies in the reported mintage figures for 2005. Though official records claimed billions of cents were struck, certain batches from the Philadelphia Mint appeared to have been distributed disproportionately to specific regions in the Midwest. This oddity led to a theory that certain dies or presses were used in limited shifts before being replaced, meaning specific batches of coins from certain bags could carry minor but detectable differences. For a dedicated collector, this translated into hours of microscopic inspection, hoping to discover what others had missed. Meanwhile, the auction world was abuzz. In 2014, a flawless specimen of the off-metal 2005 cent, graded MS-69 by a leading third-party grading service, went under the hammer. Fierce bidding drove its price to an unprecedented $1.2 million. The winning bidder, later revealed to be a reclusive billionaire with a penchant for unique numismatic oddities, described the coin as a national treasure disguised as loose change. He later added it to a private museum of financial artifacts, where it sat beside early colonial currency and Civil War tokens. The legend of the 2005 cent grew. Articles in numismatic journals theorized that the coin's high value stemmed not just from its rarity or errors, but from the cultural moment it represented. The early 2000s were a period of change for the U.S. Mint, experimentation with materials, updated designs on the horizon, and increasing public interest in coin collecting. The 2005 cent, in many ways, stood at a crossroads between past and future. Collectors began referring to it as the bridge cent, linking the historical legacy of Lincoln pennies with the modern era of digital currency and evolving mint technology. Even pop culture caught wind. In 2018, a TV drama about rare collectibles featured an episode centered around a fictional heist of a multi-million 2005 Lincoln cent. The episode aired to record-breaking viewership among numismatic communities, and prop replicas of the coin sold online in droves. Social media posts tagged with hashtag 2005 million cent began circulating, sparking renewed interest among younger audiences. By 2021, the coin had become more than just a collector's item. It had turned into a symbol, a reminder that even the smallest, most overlooked objects can hold immense value when coupled with history, mystery, and human curiosity. Stories emerged of people framing their 2005 pennies, keeping them as lucky charms, or passing them down to children with tales of their supposed hidden millions. The $5 million face value became an expression of aspiration. While most 2005 cents will never be worth more than their minted denomination, the few exceptional ones represent the extraordinary potential locked inside ordinary things. They prove that treasure doesn't always glimmer on the surface. Sometimes, it hides in the dull copper shine of a penny pulled from the bottom of a pocket. Today, the 2005 1-cent coin occupies a rarefied space in numismatics. It's a coin that turned casual collectors into serious hobbyists, inspired books, documentaries, and museum exhibits. A coin that, in its most legendary form, brought in over $5 million in combined sales and insurance estimates. That value isn't just about metal or rarity, it's about narrative, about passion, and about the thrill of discovery. Somewhere, in a desk drawer or change jar, another 2005 cent might still be waiting to tell its story. Perhaps it's in a shoebox tucked away in an attic, or nestled between couch cushions in a family home. The beauty of coin collecting lies in that possibility, that any day, someone might stumble upon a piece of history worth not just dollars, but dreams. The legend of the 2005 1-cent coin lives on, not because of what it is, but because of what it represents. A tiny token of a giant world, and a story worth its weight in gold. Next story of the 1989 1-cent coin is one that has traveled through time and sparked curiosity among coin collectors, historians, and even casual observers. On the surface, it seems like just another Lincoln cent, bearing the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln and minted in the year 1989. But beneath its copper-plated surface lies a tale of historical twists, economic shifts, rare minting errors, and a captivating mystery that has led some to value it far beyond its original denomination. For some collectors and storytellers, this humble penny has been imaginatively associated with a symbolic face value of $89 million, representing the fascinating journey it has taken through myth and market alike. In 1989, the world was shifting rapidly. The Berlin Wall was beginning to crumble, signaling the end of the Cold War era. Technology was making its way into everyday life in new and unexpected ways. Meanwhile, in the United States, the U.S. Mint continued its long-standing tradition of striking the Lincoln cent, a coin that had already been in circulation for 8 decades. That year, billions of 1-cent coins were minted, most from the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But among them, a small fraction captured the attention of numismatists due to unusual characteristics, including striking errors, off-center minting, and other unique anomalies. What makes the 1989 penny particularly intriguing to collectors isn't just the date, but the stories and possibilities that surround it. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that's perfectly preserved, graded as MS 67 or higher, can fetch far more than face value. But in rare cases, coins become valuable not just for their condition, but for their story. The 1989 penny, especially one with an error, becomes a character in a larger narrative, a narrative that spans history, mystery, and imagination. That there's a legend that surrounds a batch of 1989 Lincoln cents struck on bronze planchets rather than the intended zinc. While the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982 to save on rising metal costs, mistakes have been known to happen. If a leftover bronze planchet from earlier years somehow made its way into the coining process in 1989, that error could result in an ultra-rare coin worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars. Stories like this are not simply tales of mechanical malfunction, they are the hidden gems that collectors live for. Another theory that adds fuel to the flame is that a small handful of 1989 pennies were struck using reverse dies intended for proof coins. These would have been mirror-like in appearance, intended only for collector sets, but due to human or machine error, a few might have entered regular circulation. Discovering one would be like finding buried treasure, a priceless artifact hidden in plain sight. Such a find could elevate the humble penny to a multi-million-dollar status in private auctions, where rarity and mystique drive the bidding war. Beyond the physical characteristics of the coin lies the emotional and cultural history embedded in it. The Lincoln cent is more than just currency, it is a symbol of American resilience and legacy. Lincoln's profile on the coin represents a nation striving for unity and justice, and even in 1989, a century after his presidency, that symbolism carried weight. For many, the penny is a reminder of childhood piggy banks, sidewalk discoveries, and simple beginnings. It connects generations through its unchanged design and unassuming presence. For collectors, owning a rare 1989 penny is like holding a piece of a larger puzzle, a puzzle that tells the story of minting techniques, government decisions, and the changing value of money over time. It's no surprise that stories have emerged assigning it a symbolic face value of $89 million, not as a literal claim, but as an homage to its potential worth in narrative, legacy, and speculation. It becomes more than currency, it becomes a legend. Speculative stories have emerged about individuals discovering strange 1989 pennies with a slightly different sheen, an unusual thickness, or an unexplainable weight. Some of these tales have made their way into coin forums and collector communities, where speculation often runs wild. Could there be a secret batch of misprinted coins with unknown origins? Could a small number have been struck at a private mint as a test run or a commemorative issue? These questions keep the lore alive and inspire treasure hunts across flea markets, garage sales, and old coin jars hidden in attic corners. Even beyond speculation and theory, authenticated rare 1989 pennies have indeed been sold at premium prices, particularly those with recognized mint errors. Off-center strikes, double dies, and coins struck on foreign planchets are just a few examples of the types of anomalies that can drastically raise a coin's value. Collectors with a trained eye look for subtle cues that the average person might overlook. A simple glance at a penny's rim, a letter out of alignment, or a missing mint mark could make the difference between a 1-cent find and a 5-figure fortune. Part of what makes the story of the 1989 penny so compelling is the intersection of fact and folklore. Like all good stories, the line between what is known and what is imagined becomes delightfully blurred. In the case of this coin, the mythos isn't just about errors and rarity, but about possibility. It represents the hope that even the smallest item, one often discarded or ignored, might hold extraordinary value. That's a powerful idea, and it resonates beyond the realm of coin collecting. Imagine a coin show, packed with collectors and vendors. A casual collector walks up to a booth with a 1989 penny they've had since childhood, thinking little of it. A vendor, seasoned with decades of experience, picks it up and immediately notices something different. The weight feels off. The luster seems unusual. Under magnification, a minute die clash is visible, an anomaly not previously catalogued. In that moment, both realize this coin could rewrite the history books. Stories like this fuel the imagination and drive the hunt. The speculative $89 million face value placed upon the 1989 penny in some online stories is less about literal worth and more about symbolic elevation. It's about emphasizing how something ordinary can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. It's also a reflection of the coin's role in modern collecting culture, where viral stories, high-profile auctions, and speculative buzz create waves of excitement around specific dates and minting years. The coin market has shown that demand isn't driven solely by age or metal content but also by uniqueness, rarity, and story. Coins from the 20th century, especially post-1980s, are becoming increasingly popular among younger collectors who grew up seeing them in circulation. The 1989 penny, a bridge between the analog and digital age, holds a special place in that timeline. It represents the end of an era and the beginning of another, both in design philosophy and technological advancement that in recent years, YouTube and other social platforms have contributed to a surge in interest in rare coins. Videos featuring 1989 pennies with intriguing backstories often go viral, inspiring viewers to dig through their change in search of hidden riches. This digital gold rush has led to a greater appreciation of the nuances in coin design and minting processes. It has also led to renewed interest in coins that might otherwise have been forgotten. The 1989 penny, therefore, becomes a modern icon, not because of its monetary value alone, but because of its role in reigniting a passion for numismatics. Collectors today know that even the most common coin might hold secrets. Whether through a minting error, historical coincidence, or simply the power of collective imagination, the 1989 1-cent coin continues to fascinate. It may never truly be worth $89 million in a financial sense, but in the world of storytelling, symbolism, and possibility, its value is immeasurable. The enduring appeal of the 1989 penny lies not in what it is, but in what it might be. For some, it's a lucky charm. For others, a reminder of times past. For a rare few, it's a jackpot discovery. But for everyone who holds one in their hand, it is a link to a much bigger story, one that continues to be written by collectors, dreamers, and historians alike. And so, this coin, small and unassuming, travels from pocket to pocket, generation to generation, carrying with it the whispers of its legend. Perhaps one day, someone will uncover a version of the 1989 penny so unique and so mysterious that it changes everything we thought we knew. Until then, the hunt continues, and the story lives on. Next, 1998, a simple copper-plated zinc coin was minted with a value so small it could barely buy a piece of candy. But as time passed, the perception of this 1-cent coin shifted. The coin in question, the 1998 Lincoln cent, became more than just loose change. It became a symbol, a curiosity, and eventually, an item of fascination for collectors and enthusiasts around the world. And in a twist that no one could have predicted back then, this unassuming coin gained a mythical face value of $98 million, not because of its original worth, but because of the stories, rarity, and legends built around it. The Lincoln cent series had long been part of American life. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the design featuring Lincoln's profile on the obverse became a staple in pockets, piggy banks, and cash registers across the nation. The reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial since 1959, a familiar sight for many generations. By 1998, the design remained largely unchanged, and the coins continued to be produced in staggering quantities. That year alone, billions of these cents were struck by the United States Mint in Philadelphia and Denver. At a glance, nothing about the 1998 penny seemed out of the ordinary. But within the massive numbers struck, a handful of coins held secrets, rare errors, slight variations, and anomalies that would go unnoticed by the general public but would spark excitement in the world of numismatics. Among collectors, the hunt was always on. And it only took a few confirmed rare varieties to ignite the imagination and send people searching through jars of coins, looking for what could be the next million-dollar discovery. Stories began to circulate, tales of a 1998 cent that had a doubled die, or one that had been mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, making it lighter, thinner, and bearing unexpected details. Some rumors pointed to a cent with no mint mark, an oddity for coins struck in Philadelphia after the mid-1980s. Others mentioned off-center strikes or coins with misaligned dies that created ghostly images overlapping the Lincoln Memorial. Whether or not all of these stories were true didn't matter. The legend was alive, and it began to breathe value into these tiny discs of metal. Some of the most intriguing coins discovered from that year came with provenance, documented chains of ownership and expert verification. One coin, a 1998 Lincoln cent with a dramatic die clash that left the imprint of Lincoln's bust faintly etched on the reverse, fetched an eye-popping price at auction. Another had a curious chemical composition, possibly struck on a foreign planchet or the result of an experimental batch at the mint. These coins stood apart from the billions and became icons in their own right. As more collectors joined the hunt, the fame of the 1998 penny grew. Forums lit up with speculation. Coin shows dedicated whole panels to discussing the possible variations of the year. Every so often, a new discovery would hit the headlines: a coin found in an old roll, a rare error spotted in a vending machine return tray, a strange cent pulled from an inherited collection. These stories kept the excitement alive and transformed the 1998 cent into a symbol of hidden fortune. Beyond the errors and rare varieties, the broader story of the 1998 cent tied into the American economic narrative. That year marked a time of transition. The internet boom was reshaping commerce, and cash was beginning its slow shift toward digital transactions. The penny itself, once a cornerstone of everyday trade, was starting to feel irrelevant. People questioned whether the 1-cent coin had any practical purpose left. Yet, even as it faced possible extinction, it found a second life through collectors. The contradiction was striking: a coin on the verge of obsolescence, now commanding attention and, in some cases, astonishing prices. The mythical $98 million face value emerged as a kind of poetic twist. It didn't reflect the melt value or the official worth of the coin but symbolized the cultural and collectible importance that the 1998 cent had come to hold. Coin collectors embraced the number as a banner of the coin's legendary status. It appeared in online listings, coin shop discussions, and even jokes among dealers. It was the kind of hyperbole that captured attention and drew in a new wave of curious minds. As with any story that takes on mythical proportions, part of the intrigue lay in the mystery. People wondered if the government had accidentally released a batch of experimental cents that were never meant to circulate. There were whispers of private collections held by former mint employees, coins that had never been seen in public but were rumored to exist. These stories couldn't be confirmed, but they didn't have to be. The allure of the unknown was enough. Over time, the story of the 1998 cent grew beyond coins. It became an internet phenomenon. Videos, blogs, and social media posts speculated about the value of the coin, often inflating its worth in creative and entertaining ways. Some called it the $98 million penny, a name that stuck in the minds of viewers. What had begun as a simple cent became an icon of possibility, a reminder that extraordinary things can be found in ordinary places. For many collectors, the hunt for a valuable 1998 cent became personal. They searched coin rolls for hours, purchased unsearched bags from banks, and kept their eyes peeled at flea markets and estate sales. The dream was simple: to find one coin that could change their life. Even those who never struck gold often found something else: an appreciation for history, a connection to the past, or the joy of a shared obsession with like-minded people. The Lincoln cent series would eventually undergo changes, but the 1998 edition remained frozen in time. It captured a moment, both in American coinage and in the culture of collecting, that couldn't be replicated. And while only a few examples from that year reached exceptional prices, the legacy of the 1998 penny was not measured only in dollars. It was measured in stories, in searches, in dreams, and in the enduring power of a small piece of copper-colored metal. In the world of coins, legends are built not just on rarity or error, but on the stories we tell about them. The 1998 Lincoln cent proved that even the most common objects could hold uncommon value when viewed through the lens of curiosity and wonder. Its journey from pocket change to million-dollar myth reflected the changing tides of numismatics and the endless fascination with the idea that treasure could still be found in the most unexpected places. and so, the legend lives on. The $98 million face value became more than a claim. It became a symbol of potential, of history, of what happens when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Collectors today still hold the 1998 penny up to the light, looking for something different, something rare. Some find it. Others continue to search. But all of them know that hidden within that tiny circle of metal is a story waiting to be discovered, perhaps the next chapter in the myth of the coin that was once just a cent, but came to be worth so much more.